Hello guys, welcome back to the video. Now in the previous video we have understand about how we clean the data. If we have null values, how to tackle with those null values. We have understood about those techniques. Now what we are going to actually understand about, we are going to understand about the encoding, and that is very important for us. Now let's understand what is actually encoding and why we have use of that. As you can see on your screen, we had this data in our previous video. This is a Titanic dataset. Into this, you can clearly see that there is a sex column, there is an embark column, and name is not very necessary for us right now. So in both of the column, as you can see, we have the data in the form of object. That means in the form of string. Now in sex column, we have male, female, female, male. That is, it is a string format data type or object data type, you can say. In embark column, what we have characters like S, C, S, S, like that. Now, what is the purpose of encoding? The purpose of encoding is that whenever we train this kind of data, this like whenever we train any kind of data with our machine learning algorithm, then it accept only the data into the form of integer or numerical value or float value. It does not accept any kind of character or string value. So for doing that, we have to convert this string or object data type into the numerical form, integer form, or float form. We can convert whatever we wanted. Okay. So for doing that, we have some encoding technique to do that kind of thing. Now, as we can see in six column, we have only two type of string data type, that is male or female. And in embarked column, we can have three or four different type of characters like S, C, Q, like that. Okay. Now, what we have to do, we have to convert this string data type into the numerical or float value data type or integer data type, you can say. So for doing that, we have in some encoding technique. We majorly use two famous technique, that is label encoding and one hot encoding. Let's understand one by one and let's see what we have to do in the label encoding and what we have to do into the one hot encoding. Let's start by learning with the label encoding. Okay, now let me just open my paint. Yeah, and let me have some text boxes here. After that, some, yeah. Now suppose we have a sex column here, and in sex column we can have a data like male, female, female, male, 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 female. We can have a data like this. Now why we are actually this technique, this encoding technique, because we have to we cannot pass any kind of string data type or object data type in our machine learning model. So we have to convert this into numerical form and integer form. So, but right now we have the data into this form, male, female, female, male. That is, you can call a string data form. Now, for using label encoding technique, what we generally do, we generally assign some numerical value for each of the distinct value we have in that column. Now, as we can see into the sixth column, we have two distinct values, that is male or female, male or female. Now, what we can do for this, we can assign zero value. We are replacing the male with zero value. It is integer, you can say, it is a numerical value, you can say. We are replacing male as a zero and female as a one. Male as a 0, female as a 1. Now, what does it mean? Now, what does it mean? That means whenever male is coming, we have to replace it with 0, and whenever female is coming, we have to replace it with 1. So, what we are going to do? For male, we have did 0. For female, we have did 1. After that, female, we will assign 1 as a value. For male, we'll assign 0 as a value. For male, assign 0 as a value. For male, assign 0 as a value. For female, assign a 1 as a value. Now, we have successfully converted our string data form into the integer or numerical data form. Now, this kind of technique, we can call it as a label encoding technique. That is label encoding technique. Let's see this example for other columns also. Let's create another text box here. Now into this text box, let's have a column of embark. Embark. Suppose embarked have values like S, C, Q, Q, S, Q, Q, C, S. Now in embarked column, we have the values like this. For converting or for giving it's a proper numerical value, we have to find out the distinct value first from the column. Now, in this embarked column, if we are trying to find out what are the distinct value into this, so we can clearly see we have S, C, and Q. S, C, Q as a distinct value in this embarked column. What we can do for it, we can assign some numerical value in place of every string value. Now for S, we are giving as a 0. Now for C, we are giving the value as a 1. Now for Q, we are giving as a value 2. Suppose if there is a D, then we'll assign as a 3. Now S is again repeating, then we'll assign the value as a 0. Now Q is there, and we'll assign it as a 2. Now Q is again there, we'll assign as a 2. Now C is again there, 1 is as 0. This is the proper way for the label encoding, guys. And with the help of label encoding, we are successfully converting our string or object data type into the form of numerical data type. Okay. Now this form of data type can be easily passed in our machine learning model, and it can be trained easily so that you can predict your future data also.